Hey there, this is a review of the Uuna Tek A2 size 3.0 plotter. To view current in-stock originals for sale, go to www.earnestimaging.com. That's EARNEST imaging.com. This case study documents an extended real-world evaluation of the Uuna Tek large format pen plotter conducted over multiple months, totaling well over 1,500 hours of runtime across two machines. The plotter was provided in exchange for a comprehensive review, although this does not affect what I say regarding the machine. My intent throughout has been to evaluate the machine as a serious purchaser or professional user would. The machine has been used extensively to assess mechanical integrity, software stability, reliability, and longevity. The mechanical design and build quality of the Uuna Tek plotter is exceptional. The frame, rails, and overall construction feel solid, heavy, and industrial, essentially built like a tank. When structurally sound, it moves smoothly, holds alignment well, and inspires confidence in its mechanical design. But if the packaging and shipping falter, this machine will not hold up like it should. The first machine that I received had a series of problems because it bounced around the box all the way from customs. When the box arrived from China, customs dismantled the box and then didn't reinstall the item back into the crate, screwed down and adhered to the base like it was. They taped the top shut and then sent the crate on its way back across the United States for it to bounce around all the way to my doorstep. This produced a series of problems. First of which, it produced errors in the x-axis bearings as they ding, 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 rhythmically dinged across the top, given the fact that there was a flat spot pounded into one of them, given the bouncing and banging that occurred through the box. This also was mirrored on the y-axis gantries as I moved it across the bars. This same rhythmic dinging did occur there. I replaced the bearings on both the X and the Y axis as per the merchant's directions, but this did not solve all of the noise issues as there was still structural based torsion between the two Y based gantries as they connect the extremities of the machine. As I moved the gantry manually, once the machine was off for testing purposes across the top of the device, I would get, rhythmic tinging that wasn't rhythmic like a bearing, but it was torsion based. Dunk, 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 dunk. The second machine that's arrived has none of those problems. I do really appreciate Uuna Tek for sending this one preemptively so that I still had the ability to work with the other machine. And so I really do appreciate Uuna Tek's support in making sure that I have a functioning machine that runs well. And I believe and know that they would treat anybody else with the same level of respect or dignity if they purchased the machine themselves. Let's move on to software now. Software for this machine in brevity is direct to the point and runs in a rudimentary fashion that is successful. And it's important to point out the basic nature of the software, the fact that it can do some complex tasks and things that are interesting and new, and also the fact that it does create still some challenges with the actual device, given that it is hiccupy. If you adjust certain numbers before others, it'll erase certain numbers in settings or in the sizing of things. And so it's important to make sure that you understand how the software is functioning before you end up hitting send or print. And that's true with any of these CNC based machines. But I believe that, at a certain point, it is okay for the software to become more user friendly. And I think that's what we've got going on here. And when I received a machine properly from them, I don't have any suspicion of the machine quitting early. It's built robustly, and I believe it will continue to function as long as I need it to. I'm going to show you a piece of work that I used to make before this machine, which inspired me to find one of these tools. These pieces were time consuming, they were labor intensive, stressful on my body, stressful on my mind. Although they were heavily meditative, there was a lot of anxiety that existed in each and every single mark, making sure that it was laid down properly. Because that took so many hours, it's important to understand how this mechanical output really affects my ability to make art as a person, as well as the amount of work that I can produce, as well as the consistency of being able to make artwork. You know, if I've got layered SVG curves and the colors are mixing in a certain way, getting that color to mix exactly the same way over and over again so I can plan new works with different colors is really important. And this machine gives me the ability to do that. It also allows me to plan where the curves go prior to sending them, so I don't have the anxiety that exists in every single mark. In addition to using technology in my digital workflow in order to maximize production, this machine is able to handle the increase of output image that I make, rather than developing one idea, using myself to complete the idea, and then developing a different idea. This really has catapulted my workflow to another level of production. I think with this, it's important to understand the development of tool across time as well as technology as things develop. You know, you have the idea of, you know, a stick being a piece of technology back in the day, and then you evolve, you know, to a spear, and then you evolve to a bow. And so you imagine these things that have now, you know, greater distances from the original thing, but still serve a similar purpose. I would imagine that this device is very similar to that, and I think there's an incorrect perception that the images that come off of machines like this are worth less than something that's drawn by hand because of the human element that's incorporated into the artwork. And I just simply disagree, as simply the human element is just staged a little further back and has to be a little bit more curated prior to the creation of the art. And so I don't believe the tool that is the manufacturing methodology of the piece has anything to do upon whether or not the image has worth or value. Maybe it's reproducibility, or maybe the amount of prints that are made, or how many there are that are exactly the same. However, all my work is completely and 100% original. So having a process that is consistent, but being able to make different things with it is really a fantastic thing. My final assessment about this machine is that it's a fantastic device that really allows me to catapult my work to a new level. It has its quirks, it has its challenges. If there was plugins directly for Illustrator, that would be so fantastic. I already have all my things categorized and layered in Illustrator. If it was able to just print directly from the software, that would save me so much time, as well as storage space and exporting additional SVGs and naming conventions to make sure I understand which one is which. And so it would be really fantastic in that regard. And so these challenges and quirks can be worked around for this machine, as this type of tool and the process is inherent for my workflow. But I think making these operations easier would be able to make this machine more ubiquitously wanted across, you know, skill sets that may not be as inherent to the people who are purchasing it. You know, if you have people who are all really technically inclined, then maybe the ease of nature of the software doesn't really matter that much. But the minute you stretch into somebody who would just like to transition from painting to this, now all of a sudden you have a user-based problem. And so allowing this machine to be more fluidly used, it would really make this machine a little bit more widely accepted. And so all in all, that's it. I want to thank you at Uuna Tek again for providing this machine for review. I want to emphasize, if anybody has any questions regarding the machine, to please reach out to me or post something in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you and let you know what I think regarding it. The machine is not perfect, but I think it is as close to perfect as you can get with a consumer-based plotter currently on the market. It doesn't mean that Uuna Tek doesn't have the ability to up the standard or make things more ubiquitous or easy for consumers, but it does mean that if you'd like to purchase something that's precise, accurate, and easy to use, this is a good one to look at. To view current in-stock originals for sale, go to www.earnestimaging.com. That's EARNEST imaging.com.